Hey guys, come in the old Frog and Toad for a Saturday night Lockin pub chat.
Welcome to the pub, come and have a beer. Come along and sing a song of real good cheer. Forget your cares today, it's time to laugh and play. We're drunk again this afternoon on Saturday. The songs we like the best of all are old songs. Sad songs, bad songs, bold songs. If you like to sing, come and have a fling. Everybody welcome to the pub. Oh yeah! I'd like to welcome you to the pub. Away we go.
Hey guys, Mike here from Old Man Things, and welcome to the old Frog and Toad pub shed. I'm in the back snug. Let me light my pipe. I'm smoking a Blake Mare. Is it Blake Mare or Blake Mar? I can't. Anyways, I'm smoking it. Let me light my pipe, and while I light my pipe, let me show you what I changed in the old snug. And I'll meet you back here. Here's the picture, so I'll do a zoom out. This is the snug area. I used to have the snug sign up there. I put that up there instead. I thought that was really neat. So I moved the snug sign over there. So isn't that neat? That's I did a thumbnail for my Tweety Pubs video. What the old Frog told me I looked like back in the Victorian era. So it came out really neat, so I thought I'd put that up there. And it reminds me of my haunted picture of the Rose and Crown. So I thought I'd do a Saturday night Lockin video instead of a Sunday morning pipe chat. So I have my beer, lovely bitter. So cheers, everyone. So my wife journals, and she was looking for some old stories back when the kids were little about something, and so she was looking through some of her old journals trying to find where this particular thing happened. So while she was looking through them, she had jotted down some memories that she had came across that she had forgotten about, and I had forgotten about it too. So she had reminded me, so I thought I would share them in my pub chat tonight. So it goes back. So let me see how to start it. So my grandma, my mom's dad, sorry. My grandma, my dad's mom, I said that wrong. I haven't had many, trust me. So my dad's mom, her parents had 12 kids. And they were originally from the Durham area in northern England. And my great-granddad worked in the mines. Well, when my grandma was young, they immigrated to Enfield, North London. But before my grandma was born, they had two of their kids had died. My Uncle Freddie, he would have been a baby. He had died. And then they had little Florie Lee. And little Florie Lee died at 3 from croup. Well, they didn't have a lot of money back then. There, like I said, my great-granddad was a miner. So to take pictures of these kids, I mean, it didn't happen. So they wanted to remember Florie Lee. So they had, I don't know if it's called a death photo or a still life photo, but they had the photo taken of her after she had died, so they could remember her. And my grandma always said the photo would hang in a spot in her parents' house that they would always see, a spot where they could always see her. And I actually have a photo of my great granddad Lee and my great granny Lee with the photo above them, and I'll put it here. Well, when my great granny Lee died, my grandma went over to England, and when she went into the house, somebody had, of course my granddad Lee had died way before that, somebody had taken the frame and they cut out little Florie Lee's photo, and they just took the frame, and she had found the photo folded in half in the garbage. So she took the photo out and she took it back with her to America. Well, it always freaked my grandma out. She didn't like to have it, but she didn't want to get rid of it. So she's always stuck it in the bottom of a drawer, and every once in a while when we were kids, she would take it out and show us, and she'd tell us this was her sister Florie Lee, who died when she was 3 of coop. Well, just before my grandma died, she said to me, she said, Mike, would you take that photo? And I was like, I don't want the bloody thing. And she said, well, no one else is going to want it, and if I give it to anyone else, it's just going to get thrown out. And she said, her memory needs to live on. She said, would you please take it? So I said, that's fine. So I took it. And it was before I saw that photo of my great-grandparents. And my grandma always said it was in an oval-shaped frame. But now you see it was an outline of an oval. Anyway, so I went to Goodwill, and I found just an oval-shaped frame with like a nice background, and I took it out, taped that picture in front of that background, and put it back, the frame back together. And when my wife and I were first married and we had kids, we lived in this little farmhouse in central Wisconsin, and the upstairs had 3 bedrooms, and that's where the kids slept, and there was like a hallway between the bedrooms. And I put the photo on the wall in the hallway. Well, so as you'd come down the stairs, there was like a little hallway, and then there was like the bathroom, and then there was the door that going to the kitchen, and then you'd go the other way to the living room. So it was this little like central hallway. Well, my wife always stuck a nightlight by the stairs, so if the kids had to come down to use the bathroom, we only had a 1-bathroom house in that house, it would be lit up. Well, one night I had gotten up to go to the bathroom, and it was probably 1 or 2 in the morning. And as I got up to go to the bathroom, I walked through that hallway, and I saw my daughter on the stairs in a dress playing with a doll. And I went to the bathroom. Of course, as I was washing up, I was thinking to myself, I was probably sleeping. I didn't see that. I don't know. So as I opened up the door to leave the bathroom, I saw her still on the stairs playing with this doll. So I walked into the bedroom, and my wife had turned, like it was turning, and so I knew she was awake, and I said, why is our daughter on the stairs playing in a dress, playing with a doll? And my wife said, she better not be. You better make sure she goes to bed. So I went back out there, and now there was no one on the stairs. So I thought, well, she's probably up in their bed. So I went upstairs to her bedroom, and she had a little toddler bed, and she would have been about 3 as well at the time. So I went into her bedroom, and you could see her in the bed underneath the covers, and I thought she's just pretending because I had seen her twice in a dress. So I pulled down the blankets trying to catch her, and here she was sound asleep in a nightgown. She wasn't in a dress anymore. So I went back and I said she was sound asleep, so I figure I must have saw something. Well then, and this is all the stuff that my wife had written down in the journal that we reminded us of this. So shortly after that, one early morning, it was about 4:30 in the morning, we're laying in bed, and across the room we heard a cough, and we both woke up. We look, and there's what we assume is our daughter standing across the bedroom in a dress, but with a straw hat on. And my wife says, "What are you doing with a straw hat?" And we had never even seen this straw hat. And the little girl, which we thought was our daughter, gently stepped over our bulldog, and we both watched her gently step over Boomer as he was sleeping on the floor. And as she stepped over Boomer and she got to the door, she like just disappeared. So we both looked at each other, and my wife said, "Did you just see what I saw?" I said, "Yes." So I quick run, thinking, well, we just must have not have saw her. Run, and I go up the room, and of course my daughter's sleeping. About a month later, it was a Saturday morning, and it was about 5 in the morning, and we're laying in bed, and all of a sudden we wake up and we hear all this coughing, and we both sit up, we look, and again what we assume is our daughter standing in the doorway. Of course it's still dark, so it's hard to see, right? But her daughter in a dress standing in the doorway of our bedroom, coughing and coughing, and then throws up and leaves. So my wife says, "I'll get her, can you clean up the throw up?" So I quick get up before my wife gets out of bed, and there's no throw up anywhere. I know this is disgusting, but so my wife goes, looks for my daughter, and my daughter's in bed sleeping like normal. As she leaves the bedroom, my daughter's bedroom, she looks over and she sees the glow from the window in the hallway from the outside, enough that you can see that she sees the photo of little Florie Lee on the wall in that same dress. So she gets back downstairs and she says, "Get rid of that picture." So of course I didn't want to get rid of it, because my grandma had said, "Please, if you get rid of her, that's all our memory will ever be." So I hid the photo for the longest time. And of course we had moved to 2 different houses since then. And when we moved to this house, we have a 2-car detached garage and we have a 1-car attached garage. And I had put that photo on the wall in the detached garage. And when my son was dating his girlfriend, they would always drive into the garage. Well, the girlfriend got freaked out at that photo and must have kept on complaining about it until my wife finally said, "Can you please take that photo down?" So I took it off the wall. I had the garage door open. I took it off the wall and I went and I put it in a shelf in our attached garage. And I went in the house and was in the house for maybe an hour. And when I went back outside, I could hear all this noise coming from the garage, the detached garage. So as I walked in, it was filled with blackbirds. There had to be 30 to 50 blackbirds. Never before or after has there ever been a bird in there. There were so many birds. It was feathers everywhere. I opened both garage doors. I ended up getting a fishing net, was trying to get them, to get them out. It took me about an hour and a half to get them all out of there. And I thought to myself after, little Florie Lee didn't like to leave. Isn't that weird? When my son and his girlfriend broke up, I put that picture back on the wall. And last night my wife was reading those stories about who we thought at the time was our daughter, and then found out it, you know, she would just disappear like the 3 different times. But there must have been more, because my wife wrote the last one about the throw up, and she said this is now multiple times, so I wonder if there was more stories we just forgot about. But anyways, I was freaked out, and my son was here playing the piano Friday night, so he had left the garage door open as he had gone up the door to play his job at playing the piano. And my wife had some garbage, and she said, "Can you take this garbage out?" And on the side of the garage, we keep the garbage cans. So as I was walking, it was pitch dark, and I walked past the garage door, and I saw little Florie Lee's picture. I was so freaked out, and I was, you know, you're thinking of all that stuff. And as I went around the corner, there must have been I don't know if it was a deer or what, and it just, all you could hear was this commotion, like jump and run through the woods, and I frightened the life out of me. Anyways, guys, that's my story. And I'll put a video quick here of little Florie Lee in the garage. So that was little Florie Lee, who was only 3 when she died of croup. Isn't that weird? And each time she was in a dress, but that one time she was in a straw hat. So it makes you wonder, did she have a straw hat at one time? Because our daughter did not have a straw hat, but she always had a doll with her. So I told my daughter today, when my wife was telling my daughter about it, because my daughter was at her boyfriend's last night when my wife was reading these. So I told my daughter today, my wife was reading them again to her. I told her, I said, you have to take that picture one day. I said, because we don't want to let her memory die. And my wife said, I don't think so. She said, it's getting buried with you in your casket. Well, my wife has said so many things are getting buried with me. I said to her, that casket's going to be so bloody full, there won't be room for me. Anyhow, that's my story of little Florie Lee. So cheers, guys. Hope you enjoyed the wee Lockin at the Frog and Toad on Saturday night. So I shall say, cheers everyone, and cheerio, my dear friends.
It's time.
Who's gonna
Hi,
run?
gentlemen.
I don't know who's gonna run. Hello, Ducky, will you? Have you got a car, love?
I know this is the
I
last.
don't know what your name is, but you've got to drive mother home. It's a shame, isn't it? A shame. It's a shame when you're gonna go
Good night, everybody. Good night. See ya. Thank you very much. See ya. Good night.